Alrighty, hello everybody, JamesCardsFC here, thanks for clicking on the channel. Unfortunately, this is my third or fourth time recording this video because I'm not sure if you can tell, and I hope this is not the case, but my microphone, which is right here, has been dying on me. So I recorded this once with the microphone and it sounded awful. I went ahead and tried to record it without my microphone and it sounded just as bad or worse using my computer audio. So I replugged in my mic, hopefully everything's good to go, and this will be the one that ends up being uploaded. So today I'm going to be talking about what I believe is the best product of 2021/2022 for prospecting, and that is the latest Merlin Chrome set that just came out. So going to be going through some slides on this, and hopefully the information is not too out of date after I've planned to record this a few days ago, but have been a little bit delayed. So let's go ahead and get into why I believe this is the best product for prospecting in 21/22. I'll actually give my dog a second to get a drink over there. It sounds like she's a little busy this morning. Okay, so this is a 150 card checklist for the Merlin set this year. There are 19 numbered parallels and 2 non-numbered parallels per player. The true colors, if you believe in true colors, and it's something I covered in a previous video about ultra modern, true colors being colors that are just the one solid color, no waves, no speckles or anything like that. In this set, all the true colors are numbered under 100, which is a really good thing in my opinion. You have a green that is numbered to 99, blue 75, gold 50, orange 25, purple 15, red 10, and super 1 of 1. Pointing out here that the green and the red are both hobby-only parallels, whereas the blue, gold, orange, purple, and superfractors are possible to be found in the retail version of the release. And then I put a question mark around purple 15 because purple is usually not as desired of a parallel. It's usually numbered to 200 or higher, so I'm not sure exactly if the pricing will carry over where it will be valued more than orange or gold, but I guess that's something to monitor going forward. So the other really cool thing about the set is the match ball autographed cards, which I believe look cool, but if you look on the back of the cards, the balls are not from any particular match, event, or season, which means that Topps could have just taken some balls from Dick's Sporting Goods, chopped them up, and put them in the cards. So at least in my opinion, I personally avoid things like that. But if you're into artistic, nice-looking cards that have patches that have no significance but look nice, these cards are probably a good option for you, but just not for me. The real drawing point and why I think this set is the best is because it has 10 plus rookies that do not have any other cards from 2021 or 2022 hobby sets. So this, once you do all the math on the set, runs out to around 3,600 refractors per player. If you look at a guy like Gavi, he's going to have 20,000 plus refractors and numbered refractors, whereas a guy like Tel is going to have 3,600 refractors and then 1,800 numbered refractors. So he's going to have somewhere between 4 and 5 times less refractored or numbered cards than a guy like Gavi will, and in the long run, I think that stuff really starts to matter. So today, we're going to be looking at the rookies in this set that have that dream scenario of having a very limited run of rookie cards, especially with refractors and numbered cards. So the 13 key rookies ranked by price. I went ahead and I did all the work for you, and I highlighted out who I believe are the 13 rookies that should be targeted in this set. I'm ignoring defenders, most CDMs, and older rookies that I don't believe are meaningful, but feel free to go on Transfer Market and look up all the guys in the checklist to double check my work. The rookies that are present in other hobby product checklists are obviously not included. I gave some exceptions because their current products that they have out I don't believe are very valuable, and so I would consider these to be definitely the go-to cards for them, at least from what has been released so far. And then the list right here is ranked by price from the first case player auction break results on eBay. So people bid on an auction to get all of the cards from a given player from a given case break, and this is how these players were priced. So in first you have Tel, in second you had Scarlett, in third you had Luka Romero, in fourth you had Sulemana, fifth Rayan Cherki, sixth Harvey Vale, seventh Noni Madueke, 8 Boadu, 9, Sonny Perkins, 10, Ilias Akhomach, 11, Loum, and 12, Lesley, and then 13, Karamoko Dembele. So I'll be going through all these players individually here over the next few slides, and we'll talk a little bit briefly about where they're at currently in their career, sort of their outlook, things to look forward to. And again, please double check all my work on all of this. I'm not a professional scout. This is just what I was able to find on Transfer Market and a few other sites. So we'll start off with Tel, who is by far the most popular player on the checklist, by far the most expensive player in the checklist, and by far the guy that everybody seems to be talking about. So he's a 17-year-old center forward for Bayern Munich. He is a French citizenship, and he again plays center forward. He transferred to Bayern over the summer for $30 million or euros. I forget exactly what the translation was, but I think dollars and euros are actually pretty close in value these days. So feel free to double check me there. He captained France's U17s with 5 goals in 9 matches, and he also scored 5 goals in 6 matches for France's U18 and was just called up to the U19 in the most recent squads. He also has 2 goals on the season already for Bayern Munich, so the fact that he's getting minutes with Bayern as a 17-year-old is usually a really good sign. In terms of his outlook, the Mbappe comparisons are already starting. He doesn't exactly play like Mbappe, but he is a young teenage French center forward that happens to be playing some minutes for a top-tier club, so those comparisons are bound to happen, especially in a market that is really, really hype-driven. So his current auctions, at least on eBay, are being shilled pretty heavily. You have to be very careful if you're trying to pick up his stuff at auction. Buy it now or best offer might be your best choice right now if you're interested in picking up Tel cards. I know some people are thinking his pricing is completely ridiculous and out of this world, but when you compare it to guys like Phil Foden or even Mbappe's cards, he's still significantly lower than those two. So it depends on how you rank Tel, but in my opinion, if you're going to go after these guys that are like Gavi, Sesko, or Tel, I think it makes the most sense, at least in terms of scarcity, to go after a guy like Tel if you really believe in him, because again, he's only going to have this one rookie set, at least that we know of, and so that makes his cards much more attractive from a scarcity perspective, especially if you're targeting specifically the numbered cards where you only have 1,800 of them, whereas Gavi, Sesko, and all those guys are going to have 10,000 plus. So something to keep in mind. I don't think Tel is the worst buy. I think it is super speculative and you're taking on a lot of risk. This is akin to gambling, but of the gambles you can make on this year's products, I think this is probably one of the better ones, at least for now. We'll see what happens with this pricing. Again, avoid those shilled auctions, and probably even then wait a few weeks. I know it's possible that Tel ends up going on a run and scoring some more goals for Bayern as prices get even more out of hand, but I think it's probably worth waiting, at least right now, to see where those prices settle once all this shilling stops. So next we'll move on to Dane Scarlett, who is 18 years old. He is a center forward for England and for Tottenham that is currently on loan at Portsmouth. He has scored 3 goals in 8 matches in England's 3rd division this season, and he had 31 goals in 58 matches across all youth and professional matches in his career. At the U19 level for England is actually where he's played his best. He has 12 goals in 14 matches there, and he was recently called up to England's U20 squad. A lot of the reason he's getting a lot of hype, and you can see by his price being 423% above the median player, a lot of that is coming from not just influencers talking about him, not just Sunday League investors pulling his one of one, which really brought his name into the hobby perspective, I guess. I think that was a big deal. He's also the youngest player to ever represent Spurs in the Premier League, and he was quoted by Mourinho in 2020 by saying, if everything goes well, he's going to be phenomenal, and I see a lot of people that are talking about Scarlett bringing up this quote, so I thought I should leave it as well. Keep in mind that he does have autos and variation cards in the set, so print run will be slightly higher than other rookies. If you're interested in a guy like Scarlett, I would be paying attention to how he plays at Portsmouth, because that's probably going to give a direct indication to how far away he is from getting minutes with Tottenham. If he plays really well for Portsmouth going into next season, it's possible he could get some minutes, whereas if he's just average with Portsmouth, he's probably going to stay in the youth ranks with Tottenham or, again, go out on loan. So keep an eye on his performance there. He is the, at least current moment, the second most popular player or rookie in this checklist. Then we'll move to Luka Romero. He is a 17-year-old winger for Lazio, and he's citizenship to Argentina. I believe he could also play for Mexico, but he has only played for Argentina recently, so keep that in mind. He has a few different ways he could play, but recently it looks like he's going to be an Argentinian player in the long run. He transferred from Mallorca to Lazio over the past year, and he has 10 matches, having not yet scored for Lazio. He scored once in 9 matches for Mallorca, and he has played up to the U20 level with Argentina. You probably know his name as the youngest La Liga player ever at 15 years old, but he doesn't really have any stats going on ever since that happened. He only has scored 1 goal in the top flight, but he's still only 17 years old, so no stats yet. But he is insanely young, and there's massive age versus level speculation when you have a 15 to 17-year-old playing at some of the top levels. You're bound to get that sort of speculation as when he turns 20, when he turns 23, what's he going to end up being? So it's always good to see those guys get minutes. So Luka Romero is out there if you're into a guy that has no stats right now but is very young and perhaps will continue to get more minutes at a higher level as just a 17-year-old. Then we'll move to Kamaldeen Sulemana. He is 20 years old, he is Ghanaian, and he's a winger playing for Rennes right now in France. He has 2 assists in 2 Europa League matches this season, and he had 10 goal involvements in 36 matches total with Rennes. He also has already played at 20 years old 11 matches for the Ghana senior squad, but he has not scored just yet. He also has 18 goal involvements in 36 career matches at the left wing position, so when Rennes plays him at left wing as opposed to some of the other positions, he's performed very well, especially given how young he is. I leave in here that he could feature for Ghana at the World Cup. He is on the roster for this international break, and I think it's possible he gets some minutes. He could even start, but it'll just depend on if Ghana wants to go with a bunch of young kids or if they want to start some of the more veteran players. So I would expect a move to a top club in the near future, but the playing time is probably going to be limited. He's only played in the starting 11 for Rennes in 29% of their league matches this season, so even if he moves to another top club, I don't think he'll get more starting 11 minutes than he would be seeing currently at Rennes, so keep that in mind if his transfer does come up. Then we have Rayan Cherki. This guy has actually had cards for a few years because he was in Tops Now in 2019, but other than that, he doesn't really have a hobby release or any numbered refractor type cards or releases, so I really like him for this set as being his rookie set, even if he does have older Tops Now issues. So he's a 19-year-old French winger currently playing for Lyon. He has 3 assists in 60 minutes of game time in 22/23, and in his Lyon career, he has 22 goal involvements in 69 matches, despite just being 19 years old this season. He also has 4 goals in 4 matches for France's U21 side, and the reason I highlight the fact that it's U21 is that Topps is going to be releasing a Bowman U21 product here in a few months. They have not released the checklist for it yet, but the fact that Cherki was on the U21 roster this year makes me think he might get into that set, so just keep an eye on that, because if Cherki is in that set, he'll have more numbered refractors, he'll have more rookie cards, and so from that perspective, this card would mean less to his market than it would mean to a lot of these other players' markets. So keep an eye on that checklist. If you want to go in on Cherki, I recommend waiting until that checklist drops, because in my opinion, the value proposition on these cards for Cherki drops a lot if he does get the Bowman U21 release. Now, I do like Cherki as a player. He's currently a rotation piece for the League One top 4 side Lyon at just 19 years old. He debuted for the club at 16 years old in 2019, and he has lots of League One experience as a rotation player. The questions for him in his next step in his career is, does he break out into the starting 11 with Lyon? Does he transfer to a smaller club's 11? Does he transfer to a bigger club's youth stash of players? Not sure what's going to happen for Cherki, but the fact that he's getting so many minutes and has already played so many minutes with Lyon over the past few years usually is a good sign for his near future. So keep an eye on his checklist. Harvey Vale is the next guy on the list. He is a 19-year-old attacking midfielder for Chelsea that is currently on loan at Hull City. He was, at least at the start of the season, the captain of Chelsea's Premier League 2 squad before he got transferred to Hull. He signed a new contract in early September with Chelsea, which indicates that they have some interest in keeping him around. Of course, Chelsea has a lot of different talent at midfield, even in the attacking midfield. They're pretty stacked, not in terms of world-class talent, but just guys that would be ahead of him in the depth chart / rotation. He'd have to jump over a lot of guys, so I would keep that in mind. He does have 15 goal involvements in 36 Premier League 2 matches, which is pretty good, especially for an attacking midfielder. He's also played 15 games for England's U19s, and he has 1 goal there. So I would be staying tuned with Hull City to see how he performs there. He's probably still a few years out at Chelsea, but he could be a transfer target for a mid or bottom table team if he does have a strong run of form with Hull City. So keep an eye on his performance there, as that will likely dictate what ends up happening with his transfer status and market over the next year. Then we have Noni Madueke. Keep in mind this guy already has cards from the score set, but those are all paper-based, and not a lot of people really care about the score set. So just throwing that out there, he's in score, and I also believe he does have some Inception cards, but again, that's a smaller set, and this will likely, at least in my opinion, be his go-to set. So with that out of the way, he is a 20-year-old English right wing currently playing for PSV. He has played in 71 matches for the PSV senior squad with 32 goal involvements at just 20 years old. He has 15 goal involvements in 35 PSV matches in the past season, and he has played 4 matches for England's U21 squad, but has yet to score. Keep in mind he's currently recovering from a severe ankle injury, and he is out until at least January of this coming year, so you have a lot of time to either figure out how that injury status is going or load up on Madueke stuff while his name is going to be purely out of the spotlight. So he's been eyed by many top clubs following a 9-goal season in 2020, and then he extended with PSV after that season and put up another 9-goal effort in 2021, but then just got injured in a training collision going into this season, so he has not returned since. This is a possible buy low opportunity, but perhaps with an injury of this severity, you might want to wait and see what he looks like when he comes back. We see time and time again that with young kids, once they catch the injury bug, they continue with it through the rest of their career. A guy like Dembele was on the injury list for 2 or 3 seasons before he finally reached the form that he's in currently. Ansu Fati, we have no idea what's going to happen with him given his injury history, so all that sort of risk is out there for Madueke, but he does seem to be a very talented player. He only has autographed cards in this set. He has no base cards, so that'll be good from the extent of scarcity, but you're going to have to be stuck with sticker autographs as his only rookies from this set. So then we'll move on to Myron Boadu. He is a 21-year-old Netherlands center forward currently playing for Monaco. He has 8 goal involvements in 42 matches for Monaco last season, but overall in his career, he had 56 goal involvements in 88 matches in the Netherlands League. He also had his best performance with the Netherlands U21, where he has scored 12 goals in 17 matches, and he has also debuted with the senior squad. But again, the fact that he has played a bunch of games for the U21 Netherlands side, at least in my opinion, would make it seem likely that he is included in the Bowman U21 set. So again, keep an eye on that, as that will be a big key to his market. He's currently recovering from a foot injury, but he has already played 9 minutes this season, so he's working his way back. He is not starting currently for Monaco, but perhaps it is in their plans once he gets healthy to start going forward. He has strong numbers in both the U21s and in the Netherlands League, but that has yet to translate into his first couple seasons at League One. He is a key member of Netherlands, at least at the youth level, so it's possible he is a key member on their road to 2026. So the center forward position might be his to lose for the longer term future, but that is a lot of speculation going on there. But at least currently he has put up strong numbers in lower levels and is looking to translate that success into Monaco at League One. So interesting guy here. Again, please keep in mind that if the Bowman U21 release includes him, these cards are of less importance. Then we have Sonny Perkins. He is an 18-year-old center forward for Leeds. He transferred from West Ham to Leeds on a free transfer over the summer, and he's only played in the Premier League 2 level so far. So he has currently on this season, at least when I made this presentation, he had 5 goals in 4 matches in Premier League 2, and he had 12 goals in 21 matches last season in Premier League 2, so his goal-scoring output has definitely increased this season. Whether that'll keep up or not is just going to be a matter of time. He was just recently called up to England's U19 squad, so perhaps he makes an impact there as well. In terms of his market outlook, he's a long ways out from getting any sort of regular first-team minutes. The Leeds connection is potentially interesting because of all the Americans that are currently tracking Leeds because of all the Americans on the team. So if Perkins ends up being the starting center forward, that would be very interesting, at least in terms of eyes on the club. But he could transfer anywhere before he makes his first team mark. So it's anyone's guess where he ends up playing. And even if he does make a first team anywhere, we don't have no idea at this point. This is definitely a long shot, but if you're looking for a guy to super speculate longer term on, in terms of he probably doesn't make a regular team for the next 2 or 3 years, this might be a good guy to look at. Then we have Ilias Akhomach. This is an 18-year-old winger for Spain and Barcelona. He currently had 4 goals in 22 matches in the 3rd division of La Liga last season, and in this season he has 1 goal in 3 matches, and he also has a goal at the UEFA youth level, which is like the youth version of the Champions League, so he has 1 goal in 2 matches there. He is currently with Spain's U19s, and he has 1 goal in 3 matches for them. Ilias is known as one of Barcelona's best academy prospects. He has goal involvements, his goal involvements have not materialized consistently in La Liga 3, and Barcelona is stacked at wing. So in my opinion, a loan or a loan plus buy deal seems likely for him. It's no secret that Barcelona is flux with wings, so especially young wings. They have Fati, they have a million other guys that play the midfield/wing position that are still young or at world-class level, so not sure how Ilias is going to fit into that mix. So I think it's likely over the next year or 2 that he goes out on loan or goes to a loan buy sort of deal. So keep that in mind, that it's probably a case of he may not be playing for Barcelona by the time he does get first team minutes. Then we have Loum Tchaouna. I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce this name, but we'll go ahead and pretend that is the correct pronunciation. He is a French winger currently playing for Dijon on loan from Rennes. He is a key part of the France U19 squad. He has 7 goals in 17 matches there. He also had 11 goal involvements in 14 matches with Rennes B squad, but he has not yet scored a goal above the 3rd division in France. He was called up to France's U20 squad in the most recent selections. So the thing going on here with Loum is that he's been a key member of the lower division Rennes and France youth squads, but that success has yet to translate to the higher divisions, at least not yet. He's still just 19. The success he's had at lower levels could or could not translate at this point. We just really have no idea. If you want to do some more research, maybe you can figure out if that sort of skill that he's shown at the youth level is going to translate. Then we have Lesley Ugochukwu. He is an 18-year-old center defensive mid/center mid for France and Rennes. I included him because he's played 50% of his games at CDM and 50% of his games at CM, so it's possible he ends up playing either position in the long term, but obviously for the hobby's sake, we would much prefer if he ended up playing that center mid position. As an 18-year-old, he is currently on the Rennes first team bench to start the 2022-23 season, which is a great sign considering he's only 18 years old. He has 9 matches with France on U18, and he has 1 goal with them. He's already played 23 League One matches at just 18 years old. Again, really good signs, age versus level. He has lots of Division 1 matches under his belt. However, his position might end up holding him back. It depends on long-term whichever club he transfers to. If they see him as more of a CDM, if they see him as more of a CM, perhaps they could see him as sort of an attacking midfielder. I haven't watched any of his games to know what he looks like in any of those positions, but feel free to go ahead and do that research. I think it's his market key is going to be what position he ends up playing for his later clubs, so keep an eye on that. He only has 1 goal involvement so far in 35 career matches at all levels, so unless he's played in more of an attacking role, I'm not sure what his market's going to look like, but he is super young and he's already playing a lot of League One minutes. And with that, we'll move to the last guy on the list, which is Karamoko Dembele. Of the guys on the list, you might actually know this guy's name because he was pretty much a viral superstar in 2016-17. He is an English right wing currently playing for Stade Brestois, I believe is how you pronounce the name of that club. He transferred to there from Celtic. He's played 30 minutes so far this season. He debuted for Celtic's U20s as a 13-year-old in 2016, so if you know his name, that's probably why. He had 1 goal in 13 professional matches since 2018. He's only played 132 minutes total for Celtic's senior team in the past 4 seasons, so despite the fact he debuted so young for the U20s, he really hasn't played many minutes at the top level. He's seeing limited minutes everywhere. He's not played for England youth level since March of 2021, in which he was playing in a U18 friendly. The only reason I think he's on this checklist is because he was a former viral wonder kid. It's possible that he's overmatched the pro level. Again, I haven't watched any of his matches, so I can't tell you anything about his playstyle or anything like that, but the numbers and the playing time shows that he might not be as good as people thought he was as a 13, 14, 15-year-old, but again, do your own research on that. Of the 13 guys on the list, he's currently the cheapest of all of them, despite the fact that he does have that name recognition. So perhaps there's something here that you could catch on this, but again, it doesn't look like the clubs that he's played on see him as a potential fit for big minutes. And then last slide here, this is the JamesCardsFC Merlin prospecting tiers list. This is how I would go ahead and rank these prospects, but feel free to disagree with me and go through this list, create your own. I would love to know what you guys think of all of these guys. So without further ado, that will conclude today's video. Feel free to leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe for more content. I should have some more coming out this week. I actually have a bunch of stuff I'm waiting to get back from PSA, as well as a big shipment coming in from China to go through, so that'll be fun once it arrives, hopefully by the end of next week or the beginning of next week. But in any case, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.